friends, Mrs. Wread, back to share another read aloud story with you. Today you might notice that I have a friend with me. He's kind of looking a little bit grumpy. His name's actually Alex. My son named him. And it's interesting because the book that I'm going to read today is Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. You might be familiar with this story. It's kind of a favorite of a lot of friends. Because we all have bad, grumpy, days. Especially when you're on your way to school or you're getting ready for school and your day just starts out crummy. It happens to everybody. But let's find out how we can maybe turn our day around. This book is written by Judith Viorst. And it's illustrated by Wread. Alexander and the Horrible, Terrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. I went to sleep with gum in my mouth. And now there's gum in my hair. And when I got out of bed this morning, I tripped on this skateboard. And by mistake, I dropped my sweater in the sink while the water was running. And I could tell that it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. Some days we all feel like that, right? He looks so grumpy. Poor Alexander. At breakfast, Anthony found a Corvette Stingray car kit in his breakfast cereal box. And Nick found a junior undercover agent code ring in his breakfast cereal box. But in my breakfast cereal box, all I found was breakfast cereal. I think I'll move to Australia. Australia. Maybe you budding researchers can find out where Australia is on our globe. He looks really grumpy. Poor guy. And the carpool, that's when you ride together with somebody else. Ride sharing. Smart. That's green. Green, I meant. Meaning good for our environment to share rides. In the carpool, Mrs. Gibson let Becky have a seat by the window. Audrey and Elliot got seats by the window too. I said I was being scrunched. I said I was being smushed. I said if I don't get a seat by the window, I'm going to be car sick. That wouldn't be good. But no one even answered. That's kind of sad that nobody even responded to him. I could tell that it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. Wow, this day's not really getting better yet, is it? That's a rough way to start your day. At school, Mrs. Dickens liked Paul's picture of the sailboat better than my picture of the invisible castle. I wonder if he'd draw an invisible castle. At singing time, meaning music, she said, I sang too loud. And at counting time, she said, I left out number 16. Who needs 16? I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. He's not able to cut a break today, huh? Meaning he's not able to kind of just get back on track yet. That's tough. I could tell because Paul said I wasn't his best friend anymore. He said that Philip Parker was his best friend and that Albert Moyo was his next best friend, and I was only his third best friend. I hope you sit on a tack, I said to Paul. I hope the next time you get a double-decker strawberry ice cream cone and the ice cream part falls off the cone and that part lands in Australia. He sounds like he's just getting more and more mad. And that happens. Even his friends weren't really feeling friendly that day. We need our friends. There were 2 cupcakes in Philip Parker's lunch bag, and Albert got a Hershey bar with almonds, and Paul's mother gave him a piece of a jelly roll that had little coconut sprinkles on top. Guess whose mother forgot their dessert? It was terrible. It was a terrible, terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. That's what it was, because after school, my mom took all of us to the dentist. Oy vey. And Dr. Fields found a cavity just in me. Come back next week and I'll fix it, said Dr. Fields. Next week? I said, I'm going to Australia. It sounds like Alexander is maybe checking out. Like he's just kind of all done with this no good, terrible, bad day. Oh, on the way downstairs, the elevator door closed on my foot. Oh my gosh. And while we were waiting for my mom to get the car, Anthony made me fall where it was muddy. And then when I started crying because of the mud, Nick said I was being a crybaby. That is not nice. Somebody falls in the mud, you don't make fun of them. Think about ways that maybe they could have responded differently. Nick said I was being a crybaby, and while I was punching Nick for saying crybaby, my mom came back with the car and she scolded me for being muddy and fighting. Yeah, hitting somebody is not the way to respond. Using your words is the right way to respond. But I can tell that Alexander is feeling really frustrated. I am having a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day, I told everybody, and nobody even answered. I wonder what Alexander is hoping for when he says nobody even answered. I wonder how we could help Alexander if he was someone in our class. Or if he was a friend or a neighbor of yours. How would we help that friend instead of making it worse, maybe? So then we went to the shoe store to buy some sneakers. I had a couple of friends show me some new sneakers they bought today. Anthony chose white ones with blue stripes. Nick chose red ones with white stripes. I chose blue ones with red stripes, but then the shoe man said, "Oh, we're all sold out of your size." He finally picked a pair of sneakers that he really liked, and the shoe salesman said, "Sorry, we're out. They don't have your size." They made me buy plain old white ones, but they can't make me wear them. Right? That must have really made him feel grumpy. When we picked up my dad at his office, he said I couldn't play with his copying machine, but I forgot. He also said to watch out for the books on his desk. And I was as careful as I could be, except for my elbow. He also said don't fool around with his phone, but I think I made a call to Australia. My dad said, please don't pick him up anymore. It was a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. I understand how frustrating that was for Alexander's dad. But just think, Alexander's dad doesn't know what a horrible, no good, very bad day Alexander has already had. There were lima beans for dinner. I hate lima beans. That's not true. I actually like them. And there was kissing on TV. I hate kissing. I kiss my son all the time. Oh, his day's coming to an end and it really just hasn't gotten better, has it? My bath was too hot. I got soap in my eyes. I did that yesterday. My marble went down the drain. I had to wear my railroad train pajamas. I hate my railroad train pajamas. I think they look cute, but I get it. It's not his favorite. And when I went to bed, Nick took back the pillow that he said I could keep. And the Mickey Mouse nightlight burned out, and I bit my tongue. The cat wants to sleep with Anthony, not with me. And it has been a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. My mom says some days are like that, right? It's true. Some days just don't get better, and we have to push through. And sometimes we can turn those bad, grumpy days around. That's what I always try to do. Sometimes the harder you try to turn a bad day around, it kind of sometimes gets worse. And Alexander went to bed and saying, Mom says some days are like that, even in Australia. Good night, Alexander. I hope when you wake up that you have a very good day tomorrow. It's really tough when you have bad days, and we all have them. Grown-ups, little people, babies, everybody. So just remember, the next time you have a horrible, no good, very bad day, that you might have to just push through that day. And when you go to bed and you wake up, it's a new day. Thanks for being a listener. See you next time.